cooking!
That's my grandpa. He's not with us anymore, but he taught me a lot about life. One of the things was not to fear anything, not to be afraid of it. Test the world. When I was very young, he introduced me to very spicy peppers. They were for ornamental use only. He bought them out of a catalog because he grew everything. Anything that could grow, he would grow it. Out of a catalog, these little red peppers were spicy as you can believe. But I was so little, I didn't know the difference, and I was eating them all day. Of course, later on I had to pee at some point and didn't wash my hands beforehand and got pepper stuff on myself. Quite a painful moment for a while there, but I've never lost the flavor for spicy foods. So today we're going to do salsa. A little flair, not as much spice. Not everyone likes it as hot as I do, so take a chance and give it a try. Okay, so now to make the salsa, it's not very attractive. It's just an old Tupperware bowl, but it works perfectly for what we're doing here today. This is sort of the recipe I've perfected over many years of making salsa. So we'll just get started, and I've cut everything up. I kind of showed you the thing. You can look at the recipe online, but we're going to do, this is about 9 or 10 Roma tomatoes, just medium sized. I like Roma because the inside is not squishy. You get more of the meat of the fruit, and it's just a little firmer for the salsa. So I'm just going to put that in there. And as my killer utensil, just this metal spoon. It's really loud, I apologize. Okay. And then 1 yellow pepper. Or it's just a bell pepper. You can use any kind you want. I just use yellow for the color. Then we have 1 yellow onion, 1 red onion, and a tablespoon of garlic. This is actually crushed. You can use sliced or whatever you want. Just make sure it's not too thick, or people will get a big chunk of it. And then 2 jalapeno peppers. I cut them up with the seeds in them. If you don't want it too hot, you can take the seeds out, but I would still try it first before you just say no. It's a pretty big order of salsa, so the heat is not much. Again, I perfected this over several years of making this, but I prefer a very spicy salsa, and it's fairly, well, it does have a little heat, but it's fairly painless if you're concerned about that. Then we have 1 can of white beans, 1 can of black beans, and a can of just whole kernel corn. And you can see there's a lot of color in this salsa. Now I'm making this for a potluck at work, but every time I make it for these sort of events, it disappears rather quickly. This never lasts more than maybe an hour or 2. I just take it to work, throw it in the refrigerator, and then let it go. I need a measuring cup. Sorry about that. Okay, so to this I'm going to add, this is 2 bunches of cilantro. Now that could be a different mix. You don't know what size it is, that kind of thing. So actually this is about 1.5 cups, 2 cups of cilantro. I like to clean it really well and then cut the big chunky woody stems off, and then just cut up the leaves and the stems, the little small stems, so you don't have to pluck it all out. It all blends pretty well, as you can tell. So I'm going to, right now I'm just kind of leveling this out to get a good mix in there. Go over there. Okay, so now we have some other ingredients to do. Over here, this is just a little blender. To this blender I'm going to put 1 Roma tomato, this is fairly small. The medium size are a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to, I'll cut this real quick. I'm just going to put this in here with 1 habanero. Now, again, if you don't like heat or you're concerned about heat, please try this before you take anything out of it. Don't be afraid of it. It's not a devastating kind of heat or anything like that. I think you'll enjoy it. Again, don't be afraid to try new things. If you find that you don't like the heat, you could take the habanero out. Also, the jalapeno peppers, you can take the seeds out but keep the jalapeno, and then go from there. So I'm going to just blend this up into sort of a watery mixture. Sorry, one of the tomatoes is not going all the way down there, so I'm gonna kind of caught on something in there. Okay, so get this out of the way. I bet that sounds fantastic with the camera. Hopefully I can edit that wild, high-pitched noise out of there. I'm gonna get rid of this. Okay. And again, as you can see, I like the contrast of all these colors. So visually, you can tell that it's a good salsa. It's also quite appealing. Pull that out. Okay, and we're going to add the juice of 2 limes. Again, this is just a recipe that I've been working on for a while. This is what I like, and most of the people I know like it as well. But you can change it, modify it, do whatever you want. So there's salsa out there that's quite watery, and I'm not a fan of watery salsa. And so I don't put a lot of liquid in there. So I'm going to use 1/4 cup of just white wine vinegar. Pour that in. White wine vinegar is very, very strong, but I like when it's spread out with everything in there. It gives it just a little bit of a hint. And then I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of just plain white distilled vinegar. So that's pretty much all of our liquid is about 3/4 cup. This will get softer overnight, but again, we got our little jalapeno mix, and so then I'm going to put about a teaspoon or so of black pepper, and you can always add more. The thing is that vegetables have a different taste every time you buy them, so when it comes to seasoning, I think that's all right for now. When it comes to seasoning, you're going to taste basically, and then so about a teaspoon for now of just the seasoning salt. It's a good mix. I don't want to show you the label on this one, but and then it's just cumin, and again another probably about a teaspoonful, which is not really very well. It's got a spout that I can pour, but I'd rather know what I'm putting in before I just dump a load in there. Okay, so now the big secret with the Tupperware, why I like this container so much, and believe me, I have 2 of these still, and I use them for popcorn and for salsa. So basically I'm going to mix it up like a washing machine. Spin it around. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty well stirred, so I'm going to grab another spoon. Okay, now this will sit overnight before you serve it in a refrigerator. So, but what I want to do is I want to get a good mix on especially the garlic chunks, and then get a taste of what I'm kind of looking at. You're going to stir this up a whole lot as before you serve it. So you're going to check on it probably in the morning and stir it, and then it's going to get stirred before you serve it. And then every once in a while you turn it so that the juices that are in the bottom here get mixed in. Very fresh. Again, not too spicy. You have a little bit of a spice there. What I'm going to do is put a little bit more cumin. I don't think I got quite a teaspoon last time, so. And it's a very thin layer on my hand. It probably looks like more than it really is. And then I'm going to grab a little bit more salt. Now, don't over season now, because these will get stronger as it sits overnight. What we're doing right now is just trying to get a good base. And we don't need a lot of seasoning. We just want to let the freshness of what's in there come out. So it's better than any canned salsa or bottled salsa that you're ever going to see. So I'm going to give this another whirl around real quick, and then we're going to do what I call the turning. Oop. Burp your Tupperware. Okay, and this is by far the best salsa I've had, and not just because I make it. I mean, Mitzi helped me get a lot of the taste stuff. So I take a big spoon, and I start by going down and rolling, down and rolling. And what I'm doing is pulling the outside in and getting the liquid that's at the bottom and bringing it to the top. Now again, this doesn't look like it's very wet, but after it sits overnight, it will get a little more wet, and then you can go from there. Now, if you want, you can make it a little more moist and liquidy and add more vinegar. Again, we're just getting a start. We have to let this sit overnight. Some of the juices and liquids from the vegetables will come out, and it'll be a little juicier than you see right now. I do like it less moist this way, just because it sits on a chip better. So, and you can decide if you want it more moist, if you want to add a little more flavor, you can add a little more of the white wine vinegar, or a little bit of the regular vinegar. So, that, as ugly as it is our salsa. I hope you give it a try. Again, don't take out the heat until you do give it a try, and enjoy. Okay, so here's the finished product. I'm getting ready to go to work. We have the potluck today, so this is the easiest thing I can do. I don't have to add anything to it. It tastes just fine, but you might want to taste yours just to see if you need to add anything more. In the middle of the night, I stirred it and added about a half cup more of the vinegar, just because it seemed a little too dry. The vegetables weren't really kind of moistening out, but that's it, the final product. Enjoy.